All right, what's good, guys? It's Wednesday. It's not. It's
Hey
not
guys.
Thursday. A little bit weird of a week. Obviously, tomorrow's Thanksgiving, so not going to record the typical Wednesday or Thursday. Although we haven't really been doing that lately anyway because of scheduling and everything. But supposed to be 3 games of football tomorrow. It got bumped down to 2 because of COVID kind of ruining everybody's season. Uh, was it Steelers Ravens got pushed back from Thursday night until Sunday afternoon.
Yeah.
I still got 2 games tomorrow, which we'll get into when we get into our picks here, which, as you guys know, hasn't been going great. Uh, just absolutely horrible. I'm like 3-21 against the spread the last, I think, 4 weeks. So
Yeah. A
since
lot of winning going on over there.
week we turned things around, but um, yeah, I mean, I'm just ready to be back. I'm ready to get this win streak back underway.
I understand that, man. I understand. We got a good week, got some got Thanksgiving tomorrow. You got any Thanksgiving plans yourself?
No, we're just eating a little bit of food here, and then I'm just gonna be watching football. It's what I always do. Even when we
I
did have
respect it.
it, I'll just go to whoever's house and
Watch
I get
football.
first dibs on TV.
What's your go-to Thanksgiving food?
uh, honestly, it's like mac and cheese.
Ooh,
Mac
that's a
and
good
cheese
one.
with baked beans on the plate. Get a little bit of that barbecue sauce into the mac and cheese.
Ooh, okay. A little
Don't even
saucy.
like turkey. I'll eat like one piece to make the person feel like respect the chef or whatever.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
A small piece of turkey, but I don't like turkey a whole lot. If there was ham there, I'd go to town on some ham. But
Ooh, okay.
what what
Okay.
what's your number one pick?
I like going dessert first, man. I go I go I I go pumpkin pie right off the bat, man. Pumpkin pie with whipped cream on top. After that, get me a
Yes.
slice of pecan pie with some whipped cream on top. And then after that, do a little mashed potatoes and gravy's real good. Some mac and
Why
cheese is
why the
good.
brown gravy?
Which one do I prefer?
Yeah,
See, I prefer white gravy. I
yeah.
prefer white
Okay,
gravy.
it's a
Yeah.
smart choice. White
Yeah.
gravy is much more versatile. You can do it with basically. You can put it on chicken. You can put it on turkey. You
Yeah.
can put it on turkey. You can put it on potatoes. You can dip
Oh
shit
yeah.
in it. I'll do it.
Oh yeah.
Doesn't miss.
It's good. It's good. Obviously, this year with COVID and everything going on, Thanksgiving has changed. We're doing pork shoulder tomorrow with some, mac and cheese and mashed potatoes and pie. Obviously, pie is going to be first, but
I hope we have peanut butter pie. I don't know if we're gonna have that or
oh,
not,
you
but
do peanut butter pie.
yeah, that's what my dad likes. And I mean, I don't hate. Peanut butter pie is good, but I think if I had to pick a pie, I'm going key lime or lemon meringue every time.
Ooh,
I
okay.
don't like pumpkin pie. I just don't like the texture of it. Pecan pie, no.
Key lime pie, man. That's a different one, man.
This is a divisive topic for me. Okay, Thanksgiving, everybody comes. They say like number one thing you gotta have is the cranberry sauce, which isn't
Wrong.
sauce, by the way. Who decided that bullshit was sauce? It's a clump of cranberry, whatever the fuck. Okay, stuffing. If you think stuffing is top tier Thanksgiving food, you're an imbecile. That shit is gross. Okay. Uh,
Hot takes today, guys.
yams. I like the name yams. I think that sounds pretty cool, taste wise. Disgusting. But then again, I'm a guy who's got a very limited palate. Like, if I walk in and I'm first in line, I'm getting a scoop of mac and cheese, a big scoop of baked beans, some mashed potatoes and gravy. Like I said, a small piece of turkey, and then some asparagus and maybe baked bean or green beans.
Man, you go heavy on the sides.
Yeah, I don't like turkey. It's not something I can eat a lot of, so I just get a bunch of sides and
Man, I kind of respect it. You get the 6-piece combo. I mean,
yeah, 3 sides minimum, dude.
hey, dude, I get it. I'm surprised you only go one scoop mac and cheese though.
I usually listen if it was like If I didn't respect people, I would take more. But mac and cheese is usually pretty good. We do like the
Is it a baked mac and cheese?
yeah, like the cornflakes on top. Give it that
Ooh,
crunch
okay.
on top. So
Yeah.
I like to let everybody have some. Dude, I'm coming back for seconds. Let's not be stupid. I'm coming back multiple times just for the mac and cheese. My aunt usually makes like sugar cookies. She decorates
Ooh.
them based on theme. So Easter we'll have birds and eggs and bunnies. Thanksgiving we'll have turkeys and whatnot. I'll load up on those. Maybe have some Buckeyes and shit. I mean,
Ooh.
my family knows how to make the desserts and stuff. Everybody goes with a different turkey, but we're not doing it this year, so got to get innovative. Probably just, man, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Probably just have a cup of coffee in the morning, have G Fuel as my lunch, and then drink some or have some mac and cheese and stuff in the afternoon. But
Oh man.
I think, man, Thanksgiving's a very overrated holiday, in my opinion. Like, I get like the aspect of being around family and having food and stuff, but like, eating has just never been something that like, oh man, I'm gonna I'm gonna load up for days. Like, I'm gonna plan it. I'm gonna like fast for the few days before. I'm like, no, I'm gonna wake
You
up
don't
and still eat my food the day before. And I'm just gonna eat
you
a
don't
little bit more the next day.
you don't gorge yourself until you can't
Nah,
possibly stand looking at another bite?
no. Oh, and speaking of uh, bad food, if you bring deviled eggs, deviled lettuce to Thanksgiving, and you say, "Hey, do you want some?" and you're asking me, get out, go home. You're no longer invited. It is disgusting. And on top of that, the worst thing you could ever bring is potato salad. You can get that shit out of the state of Indiana, probably out of the U.S. That is garbage. Oh, you want pickles, mayonnaise, and mustard? No, I'd rather not. Supposed to be
Oh,
garlic and onion on top of it too. It's disgusting.
oh, man, I am loving this start to the podcast today. Holy
I mean,
cow.
this is supposed to be a sports show, and let me just tell you, I get competitive about my what you can and can't eat.
So after you, who's next in line?
Man, I'm the golden boy. Usually, so when it's our whole family, we usually let the elders go, uh, and then whoever made the turkey usually is already there, so they get to go. And then well, if it's the full family, I just wait. I'll go in last. Usually, it's me and my brothers go in last. We just don't want to just stand in line. Um, let the little kids go first. This year, I mean, it's just gonna be us at the house. I'm going first. Little Carter's gonna go second. Caden's probably gonna go
Did
third.
you just say little Carter?
Yeah, dude. Actually, he might not. He probably won't even eat much of it. I'll probably go first and like third. Trade up for that number 3 pick. Get some extra. I don't know if we're going for mac and cheese though. That's what I'm worried about because I don't know if we have a mac and cheese enthusiast in the house.
Ugh.
That's
So
gonna be rough.
you're afraid it's
What?
not gonna be made at all?
Yeah. Well,
Oh
because
man.
listen, I love mac and cheese. It's probably my favorite side dish you could ever have. Whenever I go anywhere and they say, "Oh, you get to pick 2 sides," I'm like, "Well, shit, I was already gonna get the mac and cheese. Now do I get a second mac and cheese or do I get the mashed potatoes?" Now this year, like, I'm very picky about it though. Like, there's some restaurants like Cracker Barrel's mac and cheese, top notch. But then
Sure.
there's other places where it's like it's runny or it's. I don't like the white mac and cheese. I don't like it when it's chunky. It's got to be very. It's very particular for me, right? So,
So you go to KFC, you getting the mac and cheese?
KFC probably, yeah. Church's Chicken, I'll get the mac and cheese.
Panera Bread, do you get the mac and cheese?
I don't like their mac and cheese.
Okay, all right. Well, see, this is why we have to ask these questions. Okay.
Yeah, I went to
This
Panera
is
one time and I got mac and cheese bowl and I didn't like it at all. I was like, this shit was way overhyped. It's not good. I mean,
oh man, it's hard to mess up mac and cheese, and somehow they did it. You know what I mean? It's just
it's like too creative with it.
yeah. I
But
mean, just regular ceramic bowl. Don't got to get too fancy with it. You know
yeah.
these
Uh,
clowns, man.
get your baked beans. If you want to put bacon in them, fine. It adds a little flavor. I get that.
See, I'm not a big baked beans guy, so this is kind of where we're different, you know?
Oh, really? I love baked beans.
You got baked beans in the 2 slot. I put mashed potatoes and gravy in my 2. You know what I mean?
Mashed potatoes and gravy. Okay. If there was no mac and cheese there, I'm not getting baked. I'll get baked beans, but I'm not as stoked about it. But I like baked beans because if you get them and they're very runny, you can just kind of like tilt the plate a little bit, get some of that barbecue on the turkey, get some of it on the mac and cheese, and you mix it all together. It adds a little barbecue flavor to whatever you're packing the punch with.
Ooh,
now, if
okay.
it was just go up there and you have an empty plate, you get to pick one side. I'm taking the and the mac and cheese isn't an option. Like then my number 2 would be the mashed potatoes and gravy.
Oh,
Which
man.
the gravy, again, is very similar to the baked beans with the barbecue. You can use the gravy in multiple ways.
Now,
I mean, there's a lot of opportunity here.
Now, whenever you go through the line the first time, are you getting dessert during that time, or do you get the dessert on your second go-through?
No, I'm not getting it first time because I got a full plate, right? So I'm not going to be able to – I'm just going to throw a piece of pie or whatever on top and just have – macaroni and cheese pie.
Yeah, well, no, that's why you got 2 plates. God gave you 2 hands for a reason here, Jack.
Yeah, I gotta carry my drink. I gotta carry my pink lemonade.
Okay, all right. See, pink lemonade, that's elite. That's elite. I agree with you there.
My aunt usually makes it at the house. Like she just like gets like one of those big Ice Mountain jugs and shakes and makes pink lemonade from home. Very underrated. Very underrated. I'm drinking pink lemonade right now. Love me a nice pink lemonade.
Oh man, I'm currently sipping on a caffeine-free Diet Coke. Shouts out to the working man. Swig for the working man one time.
What's your go-to like drink though? Then,
I mean, typically it's just some kind of like caffeine-free pop, like a Sprite Zero or like some of these Diet Coke caffeine-frees. Now, if there is a lemonade there, like a light lemonade, like light, love that. I go right for that. Or if like someone's making lemonade, they put the Splenda instead of the sugar in there. Boom, love it. I'm going for it. A lot of big iced tea drinkers here, and it's like, yeah, I like iced tea, but I very rarely, if ever, have it because of the caffeine in it. But man, it's
You see, I can't drink tea, man. It's gross. Can't do it.
Here's the thing: you put enough sugar in it, it doesn't taste like tea.
Yeah, but then it's just too much sugar. The only reason I would drink tea is because it's an alternative. Like, I don't drink a lot of soda anymore. I'll drink a Sprite here and there. Like, Sprite's always a good go-to if you can't find anything.
Sure.
I don't like drinking water with a meal. I'll drink water all day, but I can't just, like, wash down, like, a pizza with a water. That's just disgusting. And, of course, everybody's like, oh, Luke, you're 23 or whatever. You can't have chocolate milk with your turkey and mashed potatoes. Oh, I'm sorry to break the rules. I guess I just won't drink my chocolate milk this year. Like, if I could have Kroger brand chocolate milk with any meal, I would. But everybody says it's frowned upon. You're supposed to be an adult now. So I got to drink pink lemonade, and I feel like that's more childish than chocolate milk. Chocolate milk gives me protein. I mean, pink lemonade's good. Sprite's good. A root beer can be good, but I'm not a huge fan of it. Man, a lot of options though.
That's true. That's true. Well, guys, that's our Thanksgiving hot takes. We didn't plan that, by the way. That was totally unscripted. That was freestyled.
But you know what comes with Thanksgiving?
What's that?
College hoops, baby.
Oh, and we are back today.
College hoops. I know, Keenan, you might be thinking, wow, Keenan, you're in a weird spot. You got that couch. Look, is that the couch from freshman year?
No. Those...
Never mind. That looks very similar, but it's a little different. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, you're like, man, why's Keenan got this new setup? Hey man, college hoops on. You got to watch your guys. He's out here watching Louisville about to get their ass beat by Evansville.
Hey, the hometown boys versus the
boys are actually good.
Evansville, it's funny, they're the D1 school down here where I'm at, and they beat Kentucky last year, and everyone's like, "Hey, yo, Evansville, boom, Purple Aces, boom, Riverboat guy, boom, slapping it up," and then the head coach gets fired for some kind of. You can look it up. I don't want to break the news. But he gets fired, and then they lose 19 straight, and now they're playing Louisville. So, hey, it is what it is.
Gotta play a bad team in Kentucky. Might as well be Louisville.
Okay.
Another big one today, right now, which, I don't know, I mean, a lot of people probably don't watch a lot of Big 12 basketball around here, but Oklahoma State's playing UT Arlington, apparently.
Oh, that's a big one.
Oklahoma State, they've got Cade Cunningham, who's he was the number one high school prospect in the country last year, projected to go number one in the NBA draft in 2021. Knicks fans, I know you want to say, like, hey, let's watch this kid. You're not getting the number one pick. We know how this is going to work. You're going to tank your ass off and get, like, the 6th spot and get the only guy in next year's class that's a bust. But Cade Cunningham, I watched him a little bit yesterday. Dude's really good. Phenomenal player. I mean, obviously, you got to be pretty good to be number one in the country.
I guess.
Loaded. IU kicks off tonight. Stoked about that one. They got Tennessee Tech, another powerhouse coming up to Bloomington. IU.
Does Indiana get a top 10 ranking this year?
Like in the country?
Yeah, like at any time during the season, are they top 10?
I don't know. I don't think. It'll be tough. They're not even. I'm surprised they weren't ranked initially because they do have Trace Jackson Davis, and he was a preseason All-American candidate.
Interesting.
There's like 7 teams in the Big Ten ranked in the top 25. Indiana wasn't one of them. They'll have to play Ohio State and Michigan State and all those guys coming up, and then I believe they play Florida State here in about a month. It's either a month or in 2 weeks, one of the two. It's either December 9th or December 19th. So they got a chance to win some big games, but nice. They'll be all big. They're a football school. We all know it. So, hey,
I tell you, man.
I use the football playoff rankings, baby.
Yeah, let's talk about it. So, I guess we could start with Ohio State and Indiana last week, and I need to make a retraction. I need to make an apology here on the podcast. I said last week that Indiana did not have. I'm paraphrasing here. I didn't think they had a snowball's chance in hell of beating Ohio State, and I will admit, Indiana was the better team on Saturday. They outplayed Ohio State, and Ohio State did not beat Indiana. Indiana beat Indiana. What a game from Michael Penix Jr. Holy cow.
I mean, you have to start considering Penix has to be – I don't think he's in the Heisman race in terms of top 5. He's got to be getting close. I mean, he's due for 500 yards and 5 touchdowns against one of the best defenses in the country.
Only, though. Only.
Oh, yeah. Nothing crazy. They should have won that game, but, I mean, I don't want to keep harping on David Ellis. I gave him a very tough time on Twitter this weekend. Yeah. But, I mean, the guy, early on in the first half, or very into the first half, it's 21-7. IU goes down with a chance to score. He catches a long pass, takes it to the sideline, kind of slows down, goes out of bounds inside the 15 or 10-yard line. Next play, they throw it back to him again. He fumbles it inside the 5. Ohio State recovers. They go down and score before the half. It's 28-7. They end up going up 35-7 after the break. And then here comes IU. They're down 35-7, lead a huge comeback, and they end up losing this game by 7 points. But another play late in that game, they throw it deep to David Ellis, wide open. Chance it's going to at least be a 40-yard completion. Yeah. Keeps the drive alive. Very good chance he breaks it for another score, and he drops it. Just right through his hands. And then very next play, IU throws a pick 6, which not a great throw from Penix, but again, I mean, it was 3rd and long, I believe. He had to kind of force the issue a little bit. Sean Wade made a great play on the ball. Ohio
Now,
State takes it in
I was going to say,
42.
whereas, David Ellis did not have a great game. Someone who did have a great game, Freifogel.
Ty Freifogel.
Holy
I
cow.
mean, you just had to apologize. I gotta apologize because after the first 2 games of the season, I was very adamant that Ty Freifogel should not be getting as many looks as he was getting. When you have a guy like Whop Phillier in the slot for Indiana, I thought he was the best receiver coming into the season. I was thinking he should get all the targets. They threw to Freifogel a lot early on, and it wasn't really working out. These last 3 weeks, he's put up, I believe it's 27 catches, or maybe it's 18. It's some high number, like 27 catches, 600-something yards, and 6 touchdowns in 3 games.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Not bad. And another issue with Indiana, though, is they couldn't get the run game going against Ohio State, couldn't get it going against Michigan State. They got to stop using Stevie Scott for just, I mean, he's giving like a yard and a half a carry, it feels like. Put in Samson James. He's getting like 6 or 7 every time he touches the ball. But, I mean, Indiana, they took a loss on the road in Columbus by 7 points. They dropped from number 10 to number 12 in the rankings all across the board. Coaches poll, AP poll, college football playoff poll. Obviously, they're not going to have a shot at the playoff at this point because Ohio State's going to probably run the table. Even if they lose one game, they still got tiebreaker. And then they can't win the West because they're not in the West. Northwestern's in the West. They're the 8th spot in the country right now. Looked very scary against Wisconsin, but I don't trust them still. They don't have enough playmakers.
So I was going to say, let's talk about this right now. So the top 4 in the college football playoff was Alabama, Notre Dame, Ohio State, or Clemson, and then Ohio State. Kind of what we expected. That some combination of that top 4. 5 and 6, kind of as expected as well, with Texas A&M and Florida. Number 7, our boys, we're leading the charge. Cincinnati. After seeing the rankings come out on Tuesday, though, boy, it feels like it's going to be a very much an uphill challenge to see Cincinnati get into the college football playoff.
Yeah, and they looked a little bit rough on Saturday against UCF, but you were saying it was going to be one of the better games of the season, and it was a good game. But UCF the game was just very boring to me. I don't know why.
Well,
it
was kind of like, the 3:30 slot on Saturday wasn't a great time slot anyway. Ohio State and Indiana went off at
noon.
Yeah, went off at noon, 11 Central, and the Wisconsin Northwestern game I think went off at night, if I recall correctly.
I can't remember. It might have been 3:30 or 4.
Well, so either way, there wasn't a whole lot of like very high-profile matches at 3:30. This game was on ABC, I believe, or ESPN, one of the two. But it was a featured game, and it was Cincinnati's chance. It's probably their best opponent left on their schedule, and they had a chance to go out there and really. And UCF, I mean, they looked like the better team at times. I mean, Cincinnati had trouble moving.
Cincinnati was very rough early.
Yeah, I mean, Cincinnati, they had trouble moving the ball. UCF, they were able to drive the field multiple times. I think they were up by 14 early on or something like that.
And it was 14-3.
Yeah, and it was it made me nervous as a Cincinnati bandwagoner. But sure enough, our boys, came out there at the end, and they're going to need a lot of luck to get into the playoffs. I mean, it sucks that a team like them could win out and have 12 wins on their schedule and not get a chance to play for a natty. You know what I mean?
Right. Which,
I was going to say, while that sucks, there's another team who's got like a 7-8-0 record. Boy, did they get screwed over in the polls. BYU.
They did it themselves.
At 14, though?
Yeah, well, they just played North Alabama, which you're not doing yourselves any favors.
Powerhouse.
And they did what they were supposed to do. They won, and then they said based on how the rankings fall, we'll put somebody else on our schedule if we need to. They said they would play Washington because Washington looked very good in their, like, I think it was their second game of the season. They just beat Arizona handily. Yep. BYU said, we'll play you anytime, any place. We got to improve our resume. And then Washington agreed to it, and then BYU backtracked and said they didn't want to play that game. Well, you can't say anytime, any place against a team who's not even ranked, I don't believe, at this point.
Yeah.
And then you just say, well, we're not going to play them. You can't just go out there and beat Houston and UTEP and North Alabama and say that's a playoff schedule. You've got I don't even think Washington's going to be enough. Unless they beat Washington by 3-4 scores, it's not going to be enough to put them in. And they're just not doing themselves any favors. They've got a very good team, too. I know, obviously, Zach Wilson's going to get the hype, and rightfully so. The dude's incredible. Offensive line's really good. Defense is very strong. They're just not doing themselves favors right now, and I don't know who that blame would fall on, but yeah, they fell a little bit farther than I thought they would, but I wouldn't say I have a problem with how they fell.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Indiana, like you said, was at 12, Northwestern at 8, though. Northwestern, it really seems like they control their own destiny now. They went out, they should get in.
They most likely will get into the Big Ten championship because Wisconsin just got disqualified from Big Ten championship contention and from college football playoff contention because they had another game canceled. They're not going to even come close to reaching 8 games. I think they're only going to play 5 or 6 now this season, which they got IU next weekend. Yeah, I mean, if Northwestern can beat Ohio State, they're in. But I think we'll have to see. Their defense is obviously very good. They turnovers against Wisconsin, who's never been a team that's going to commit a lot of turnovers to begin with. I just don't know if they've got enough firepower on offense. They got Mason Ramsey at quarterback, and good God, can he not compete with Ohio State? We saw it last year in Indiana. He put up 10 points. I mean, it's not like he was always the backup in Indiana either. He was the starter who got benched because he wasn't good enough. They gave the job to Penix. Penix got hurt, so they had to put Ramsey back in, and Ramsey just could not lead that offense. And that offense, with Penix in there, has been one of the most exciting in the country the last 3 weeks.
Yeah.
You've got to think maybe it was because Penix is that much better than Ramsey, so we'll see if Ramsey can this year, but not a lot of high hopes there.
Well, I was going to say, it's we talked about this a couple weeks ago. The only team with a chance of making the college football playoff out of the Pac-12 is Oregon. And, boy, it looks like now they're going to need some help if they want to get it.
Yeah, they'll definitely need something to happen between Clemson and Notre Dame and that side. I don't see Bama losing. I don't see Ohio State losing. Ohio State looked beatable against Indiana, but they still had enough of a lead to where they didn't ever panic. They still drove the ball at the end of the game. They just didn't convert that 4th down inside the 10. I just don't see anybody outside of those top 4 that is really that big of a. I mean, Notre Dame I don't see as a huge threat. I think there's 3 good teams in college football, 3 elite teams, and that's Clemson, Alabama, and Ohio State. Notre Dame, Oregon, Cincinnati, and Texas A&M are that next tier. I don't think A&M's even that good, to be honest. I don't watch a lot of A&M because they're not good. But Georgia's a good team. Florida's a good team. But, I mean, you're not going to be able to go out there and just 9 times out of 10, you're not beating Ohio State, Alabama, Clemson. So,
well, I was going to say, it really seems like for teams like Cincinnati and basically anyone trying to get in, you need Ohio State, Alabama, and Notre Dame to all run the table. I mean, it really feels like that's their only way of getting in. So, sad to see that our boys probably won't make it in, but, it is what it is.
Yeah. It sucks, but that's how it works.
Yeah.
Ice in my mouth.
This do be live, folks.
I didn't think I'd have like 3 pieces of ice come right through my drink. That was so cold. Real quick, I don't know if you saw this. Did you hear about Andy Arozarena today?
I did not.
Got arrested.
For?
Attempting to like kidnap his own kid.
Ooh, surprised an Amber Alert wasn't sent out.
He was in Mexico. Apparently he got into like an altercation with the mother of his child or something, and he got detained for like assaulting her boyfriend or something, and he tried to flee with his daughter, and then he's been detained, and he's going to be in Mexico for 48 hours or something like that. So, situation to monitor. Very, very high rise and very quick fall for him. Very last like 3 months for one of the most exciting players in baseball in the playoffs. But that I heard about that a little bit before we recorded. So interesting going on there. But man, I'm just ready for college hoops, man. I'm just ready for just ready for some football tomorrow. Got football this weekend. Got college football, which I don't think there's anything good going on. But man, NFL picks not going great.
Yeah, well, let's talk about it.
I mean, it's not even going remotely good. I mean, I started this year up like I had like a 13-game lead.
Only.
I was feeling good.
Week.
And then since week 8, I've gone 3-21 against the spread, like 11-13, I think, on the money line. Haven't hit a lock. I'm 3-8 on the year on locks, but you would think, wow, you called it a lock for a reason. What is that reason? I don't know. That's the issue. To update, I'm 41-25 on the money line. Keenan's 42-24. For those doing the math at home, he's up by a game. Against the spread, 29-30. 28-37-1 for Keenan. I got him by a half a game there.
Man, we're that far below 500.
Yeah, not been
that's
great.
Rough. Yeah, that's rough.
Which my gambling my FanDuel account would agree with. And then, I'm 3-8 on my locks. Keenan 6-4-1. Pretty hefty lead there. I don't think there's like any way I can even catch him at this point. So
yeah,
not looking great. But you know, it's not about how you start or how you do in the middle of the season. It's about how you finish.
Well, you know, that's true, and that's why we're getting ready to go. What is this, week 12? So that's why we're getting ready to go 30-0 to finish the year. So,
if you think so,
got to get above 500 somehow on spreads. So,
no kidding, it has been an abysmal. Which I do want to say real quick. Last week, I finally had a parlay that was going to hit. Yeah, and I had it all riding on Liberty to pull off the upset against Virginia Tech. No, against NC State. Blocked field goal from 39 yards to end it, and I lost. Talk about a goddamn gut punch. But yeah, not. Man, that was bad. But hey, sometimes when you don't win, you just can't find a way. So,
man, that is brutal.
Around, but. This week, it's a little bit different of a week with coming into the week there being three Thursday night games, Monday night. So we just agreed without looking at each other's, we're just going to each pick at least one Thursday game. You could have picked as many as you wanted. Pick the Monday night game as usual and then fill out the rest however we usually would. And I believe right off the bat we both picked the opening game tomorrow, the 12:30 Eastern kickoff. Very odd time, but Texans on the road in Detroit. Detroit's one of the Thanksgiving hosts. I don't know why. I don't know if there's like some sort of backstory with Detroit being the host, but they're always getting their ass kicked on Thanksgiving. So this year they've got Houston coming in off of a win over New England. Houston's 3-point favorites. How do you have this one going?
Well, let me say first and foremost, I really wish Philadelphia was playing on Thursday this year or on Thanksgiving this year because boy, they have just been unbeatable on Thursdays. You know, this one's a tough game because Houston is bad, and Detroit is also not very good. Detroit last week, they get shut out. I don't think they get shut out again. And I am taking Detroit to pull off the upset. I got Detroit +3, winning outright 28-24, over 51.5. Matt's, boy, he gets done dirty by his team almost every year. I hate to say, maybe drafting Jeff Okuda with the number 3 overall pick.
Good.
Don't know.
Looking right now, it doesn't look like it was
that useful.
Yeah. Man. Shame, man. Shame. And you guys know how I feel about Matt Stafford, man.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers gave him some credit this week, too, just saying.
Yeah. Now, let me ask you this. I know you're not usually a big fan of the Thursday night games. How do you feel about the Thanksgiving Day games?
I think it's fun, but I still think especially playing the early set instead of, if you're playing the night game, that's one thing. You're still getting, 8 extra hours, which isn't going to do you a whole lot of good. But if you're turning around, the Ravens just came off of 2 brutal games. Well, Steelers had an easier one. Ravens are coming in playing the Titans for time, and then they got to turn around. But luckily they had a COVID outbreak, which that sounds a lot worse than I meant that to sound. But they get to push that game back until Sunday. But it's just, man, that's a quick turnaround. Go play basically 96 hours apart from each other.
Yep.
But no, I like the tradition of it. I just wish there was another way around it. And then usually, like next Thursday's game is expected to be, it's usually whoever played on Thanksgiving, 2 of those teams then match up and play that next Thursday, so they have equal rest. But now it's supposed to be Cowboys and Ravens next week. Ravens are now playing Sunday, so they're going to be on short rest, and Dallas gets the full week. See how that one works out for them, but man, brutal. But yeah, I also took this one. The Lions, dude, I don't know who's playing at running back. If it's DeAndre Swift, they have no shot. We saw him out of their lineup, and they put up 0 points against the goddamn, I don't even remember who they played. The Panthers. Which the Panthers have gotten a lot better, don't get me wrong. They've gotten very good defensively. Not shut out Matt Stafford's Lions good. They can't sit there and hand the ball to Adrian Peterson and expect it to work every time. Texans -3, easy, hammer that one. 31-17 Houston. I don't think there's a way Detroit can stop Deshaun Watson. They struggled against P.J. Walker last week. And, newsflash, Deshaun Watson's a lot better. He's got some pretty good weapons. Now, the Panthers do have good weapons. They didn't have McCaffrey. But probably the best receiving trio in the league right now. And then the Texans are going to be without a couple of their guys. But, man, give me the Texans. Hammer it.
I respect that. Well, let's go ahead and do Monday night as well. Monday night, Seattle on the road against the division-leading Philadelphia Eagles. How do you got that one going?
Yeah, this one's not going to take long. Seattle -6.5. Seattle's going to win. They're going to cover. Holy shit. Who on that Philly defense is stopping Russell Wilson, Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf, maybe Chris Carson?
Fletcher Cox.
Oh, he might be their best coverage guy. You might have a point. Good God, the Eagles suck. And just when you think, wow, the division, everybody else in that division is 3-7, the Eagles can kind of take a stand. Nah, they're going to go out and just shit the bed in Cleveland.
Yeah, that was bad.
I haven't seen somebody shit the bed in Cleveland that bad since Cleveland. And Carson Wentz. Listen, this is what I don't understand. How come every single week this season, when I check Twitter at halftime of the 1 o'clock game or whatever, it's why is Carson Wentz starting at quarterback for the Eagles? If you have what's the word I'm looking for? Fans who aren't invested in the Eagles, just football fans, who are every single week are like, yo, why is Carson Wentz still the quarterback? Yeah. Why is he the quarterback?
Yeah, you got a point.
It's been so bad. I don't know what he's doing. His decision-making has turned into a nightmare. I can only imagine how you feel. He can't take care of the ball. He's not as good of an athlete as he used to be. And sure, his receivers suck, but like, give the ball to Miles Sanders and let Jalen Hurts play quarterback. Stop giving the ball to doofy ass number 11 and let him turn it over. I mean, he gave the Browns 16 points on Sunday?
Yeah, this one hurts because you're right. Yeah, the pick six where he did get hit, but he gets lobbed in the air for a very easy pick six. And, man, it was rough. It was very rough. Not much to say about this one. I got Seattle -5. 29-20. I don't think I could put it any better than what you just said. I think that the Eagles. I don't think they won the division now. And I've been very hesitant to say that, but with Washington and Dallas playing tomorrow, one of those teams is probably going to go to 4-7. I assume. I don't think they're tying. So one of those.
What if they tie and Philly loses and we got a 3-way tie at 3-7-1? Dude, a division winner can come out of the division with fucking 5 wins. And go 5-10-1 and win the division.
It's true. Boy, you watch that happen tomorrow now. That would be hilarious.
Hey. Dallas just beat the Vikings, who were on a tear.
Yeah.
And they just made Andy Dalton look like Aaron Rodgers.
I would hate to say that after tomorrow the Washington football team could be the leaders of the NFC East after going 1-7 to start the year. But here we are.
Dude, who do you think does win that division?
New York. I think New York wins it.
I think so too, because they get the Bengals this week without Burrow, which will outplay that soon. That sucks.
Yeah.
Dude, they're gonna be 4-7 maybe. Oh, dude, it's so bad. But I was talking about this the other day watching the Vikings. The Vikings have to be the only team that can make Aaron Rodgers look like Andy Dalton and make Andy Dalton look like Aaron Rodgers. God damn. They did. They couldn't. And the previous 2 starts that Dalton had, Dallas scored 6 combined points. And the Vikings just couldn't get him off the field. He drove with 4 minutes left and got a game-winning touchdown. Oh my God, it's Andy Dalton.
Yeah, dude's a world beater, elite.
Maybe.
Yeah, Philadelphia loses by probably 2 touchdowns on Monday night. So go ahead and bucket that. Another game that I believe we picked, the Sunday 12:00 game, Arizona on the road at New England. I got Arizona at -2.5.
Yep.
Is that what you got at?
Yeah.
All right. So, how do you got this one going?
I didn't know it was at 1. That might make it a little bit more challenging for Arizona traveling East Coast or West Coast to East Coast, but still nothing big. Patriots, I just don't see how they've struggled with mobile quarterbacks for the better part of the last 4 years. Whether it be Cam Newton when they played against him, Deshaun Watson's always giving him fits. And then last week, Lamar Jackson ran the ball. Baltimore ran the ball pretty effectively. It was just a pissing down rain, so obviously that changed things. Cardinals 30-20 covering 2.5 points seems like a gimme. That's my lock of the week. Which that means Patriots are beating the shit out of them. Take that with a grain of salt, but I do like Arizona. I believe they're the leaders in the NFC West right now. Or maybe Seattle caught them again. I can't remember, but very good team in Arizona. Kyler Murray's top 5 in the MVP race, I would say pretty handily. Defense is coming along. They're actually using Isaiah Simmons, which, could have told you if you put your best defensive player on the field, he's going to make an impact. Well, Buda Baker's there too, but yeah, I think Cardinals are just a good team. I think they pull this one out and they start putting their foot on the throat of the NFC West a little bit.
I respect that. I also believe that Arizona covers this score. I got a 31-21, so a very similar prediction to what you got. I got this one going over 49.5. This game, it really depends on what kind of Cam Newton you get. If you get, if you get a Cam Newton that showed up against the Seahawks, well, then New England might out. If you get the New York Jets version of Cam Newton, well, it could be a different story. So, go ahead and give me Arizona -2.5. This is not my lock of the week, but boy, it certainly feels like it will be. So, Arizona -2.5.
I like it. I mean, we basically had the same score, so pretty good chance we're gonna both get that one wrong. God, just a brutal start. Let's see. I think that's the last one we picked together. So, Where are you taking your game 4?
Game 4, Tennessee +3 on the road at Indianapolis. Indianapolis, if you remember correctly, beat them by 17 on Thursday Night Football a couple weeks ago. Tennessee last week, they win in overtime against Baltimore. I got Tennessee winning this one, 27-24, winning outright. Tennessee, this one, I think this needs to be a statement game. If they want any chance of winning the AFC South and hosting a first-round playoff game, they need to win this one. And so I think that they are the better team. I think if they can get Henry going, it could be a long day, but Indianapolis' defense has been pretty elite, especially in the second half this year. Indianapolis, they've had, I think they've only given up like 60 points or something in the second half the whole year. They've got 3 defensive touchdowns in the second half this year. They got the safety. They've been really good in the second half. And Tennessee, they're coming off the momentum of beating a Baltimore team who might be overrated, but they're 6-4 nonetheless. Give me Tennessee to win this one outright.
Yeah, I like Tennessee. I think I would have had this game, I think, going Tennessee's way too. Just if they can they just got to keep giving it to Derrick Henry. Just keep giving it, and eventually you'll wear down a defense. We saw it happen in Baltimore. And obviously, I mean, A.J. Brown, holy cow, you just got to get him the ball.
Yeah.
I mean, he's one of the best run-after-the-catch kind of guys in the league. Titans' defense is kind of iffy at times, but offense is very much alive. Colts are just a team that doesn't scare me. I think that's what does scare me though. Is like they're probably going to make a deep run in the playoffs just because they're so quiet about how they make plays. They're very effective with what they want to do, and
this game really it boils down to, I mean, really. Tennessee needs to get out to like a 2-score lead early, so that way they can just give a steady dose of Derrick Henry to that Indianapolis defense. If Indianapolis does what they did the first time, and that's making Ryan Tannehill beat them, they got a very good chance to win and cover on Sunday.
Yeah, but I mean, we'll see. That's a good game. Obviously, this will be a real test because we don't have to watch them on a Thursday.
Yeah.
Maybe get to see how they work out when they're actually rested up a little bit. I don't even know who they're playing. I have the Chiefs -3.5 on the road against Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay, they're about as up and down of a season as you can have. You put them on, if it's dark outside, man, they can't play football. But their defense comes alive when they need them to, it seems like. I just don't think it's going to be enough. Chiefs are on a roll. Mahomes, last week, what he put up, the Raiders gave it everything they could. Derek Carr actually looked good, and Mahomes was 10 times better. Chiefs, 38-24 over the Bucs on the road. Statement game for Mahomes again, another win over Brady. And just keep them rolling, baby. Chiefs. Yeah. I think the Chiefs, for me, are the best team in the league. They're still a Super Bowl favorite, even though they do have the one loss. Doesn't really mean a whole lot to me. So.
Yeah, Derek Carr has almost been their kryptonite this year. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. Of all people, I don't get it, but I mean, not everybody can be as good as Kirk Cousins under pressure, so I get
Yeah,
why
that's fair.
you picked their team. Uh, game number 5. What we got here? Green Bay, it looks like for you.
Yeah. Yeah, Green Bay. Did you give your number 4? Oh, yeah, you just did with Kansas City. My number 5, Green Bay -8.5 against Chicago. Boy, this one, what can you even say? Chicago is bad. I mean, they can't. I don't know if they've scored a touchdown like in the entire month of November. I mean, offensively, I mean, obviously they had the run back last week, but holy cow, is this team terrible, dude? I mean, Chicago. I'm offended. It's only 8.5 points. Green Bay. I got this one 31-14, pushing 45. Chicago is bad, and Green Bay is not, and that's all the reason you need to hit Green Bay -8.5.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like it feels very low for the Packers to be 8.5, even though they did just lose. But like, it's a divisional game, so it makes sense. Like, it could go either way. It's a big rivalry. Anything can happen. But like, come on now. The Bears are just not good. I don't even care what their record is. They have to put Trubisky back in.
Yeah, I mean they're what since they pulled Trubisky. I mean they started the season 5-1, something like
Yeah,
that,
they were
and now they're
3-0 with Trubisky.
yeah. I mean I don't know. It's perplexing to me.
I mean, at least he gives you that dimension where he can run. Like, at least if your running backs can't get open in space, maybe your quarterback can, which should never be the case, unless it's Kyler or Lamar Jackson. But, like, Trubisky should not be outperforming David Montgomery in the offense. And they're not even activating Trubisky. He's been inactive, it seems like, every week. Don't know what the Bears are doing. Matt Nagy probably on his last little bit of his leash up in Chicago. So, God, I hate the Bears. And I hate the Packers, but man, I really hate the Bears because they are dysfunctional, which is good for us. Yeah, Packers should just beat the snot out of them.
That's what I'm thinking.
I'm gonna take mine. Pick the Dolphins as my lock last week. They let me down. They benched Tua, put in Fitzpatrick. Tua's getting the start again this week against the Jets, dude. Just incredible team. Dolphins -7 seems pretty easy. Dolphins, I've got them winning 31-21. That 21's coming pretty late. It's going to be one of those, hey, it's 31-14. We're throwing a deep touchdown pass to end it. I mean, did you see Flacco's pick 6 last week?
I did not.
I mean, he hand-wrapped it. I mean, it was like 1st and 10 from his own 3. And he just handed it off to the corner in the end zone. It just, hey, if you want to tank, you put Joe Flacco at quarterback. I understand why they're not playing Sam Darnold. Don't get him hurt so you can trade him. Jets stink. Jets are bad. I thought the Bears were bad. Listen, they are. The Jets are. I mean, they're 0-10 or whatever they are for a reason.
Yeah.
Okay, Dolphins are still a playoff team. Dolphins can still win that division at 6-4. They win a couple games. They're only a game back of Buffalo. They still have a game with Buffalo. Give me the Dolphins. And then, yeah, I hope they make a run in the playoff. I like Tua. I like their offenses. Give them a shot, man.
I respect it.
Who are you locking in?
I'm locking in your favorite team. The Minnesota Vikings. No, the New Orleans Saints with your favorite player at quarterback, Mr.
Absolutely.
Taysom Hill, who is for some reason listed as a tight end in fantasy football. That's neither here nor there. I'm playing that guy this week. Not salty at all. I dropped him. Not salty at all. New Orleans -6. They played Denver. New Orleans, this is a game they need to win if they wanted to win that division, especially with Tampa Bay losing last week. They can really put the pedal to the metal with Tampa Bay playing Kansas City this week. I don't want to say New Orleans can probably wrap that division up this week, but boy, it certainly feels like it. Give me New Orleans -6, 30-14, over 43.5. That is my lock of the week. Hammer it, take it to the bank, put the 401k on it. Don't do that. I don't want to be responsible, but just take it to the bank.
Yeah, I think Taysom's in a very good spot. I mean, he played Atlanta last week, which they're not good. Gets Denver this week, who's also not good. Gets Atlanta again next week, which, hey, shocker, still not good. And then I believe he's
tell me they're not going to get better over 2 weeks.
No, I think his first 4 games, the 3 games that he's going to play with Drew Brees out, it's going to be the Falcons, the Broncos, and the Falcons. Should be easy peasy for them. And then when Brees comes back, they can still keep Taysom in there if they need to, because they've got. No, then it gets tough again. Then they've got the Chiefs, and then they play the Vikings on Christmas.
Well, see, by the time they get to that point, though, hell, they probably got the division on lock, so that way they can probably play at Taysom Hill and give Drew Brees some extra rest. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They could try out some different looks with Taysom Hill, try to get prepared for maybe some 3rd and 7s in the postseason that they like to throw Taysom Hill in there for,
Yeah, for that 3-yard rush off the left side of the line and get smacked by a linebacker, and then he falls forward for a yard, and it's 4th and 3, but hey, he trucked that linebacker, so we got to praise him a little bit. I hope he starts against the Vikings, and I hope he does. I hope he plays as good as he usually does. That's all I'll say. I hope he has a very good game for his standard.
Well, and it's obviously, if you've followed along with the show, we've got a little bit of a love-hate relationship with Taysom Hill. Boy, it really feels like the amount of hype that kid gets. I mean, good for him for getting his money. Good for him for getting some exposure.
Yeah. I'll never be mad at the guy for getting his paycheck. I mean, he finessed the league.
I mean, but honestly, if anything, the credit needs to go to Sean Payton, because he's figured out how to design an offense that can work for a 42-year-old quarterback who can't throw a deep ball. And he can also figure out an offense for a 28-year-old, I don't know how old he actually is.
He's 30.
A 30-year-old utility player who also cannot throw a deep ball.
Man, that deep ball he threw on Sunday was something, man.
15 yards short of where it should have been. Holy cow. But yeah, Sean Payton, I mean, you got to give that guy some credit. I mean, he has, with Brees out the last 2 years, he's 10-0 without Brees. And so it's
I think they're 7-0 in the last 2.
Well, regardless, I mean, undefeated. You can call Brees a system quarterback if you want. That's fine. They've whatever they're doing down there is working. And that's why I think that a good New Orleans team with a great head coach and a gimmick at quarterback who the league hasn't figured out yet against a terrible Denver team with a very shaky quarterback and a head coach who I can't even name. That's why New Orleans is my lock of the week, -6.
Yeah, 6 points seems very low for that, but I also just wouldn't be surprised if for some reason Drew Lock has the game of his life. Melvin Gordon and Phillip Lindsay both ran for 80-something yards last week. The Broncos, I just can't figure out. 1 week they're ass, 1 week they're pretty solid. So
they're ass again.
The player to watch with the Saints is Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. Every single week you watch, he's making either a big play in the backfield, he's defending something down the field, forcing a turnover, lighting up the quarterback. He does it all, and I'll take it. As I've always had him as a round 1 player coming out of Florida. He dropped to the 4th round somehow, and the Saints obviously were smart to take him then, and he's been arguably their most impactful player on defense. So
yeah, there's a reason why good teams stay good. You know what I mean?
You know how to draft. The Saints 2017 draft class was elite. 2019 was pretty damn good as well. And if you want to be good, you got to draft well. The Eagles know that. They have not drafted well. Vikings have not drafted well. This year's draft class looks pretty good early on, but Giants don't draft well. Steelers draft really well. And look at that. They haven't had a losing season in 40 years, it feels like. So
facts.
You got to do your job as a front office. My last game of the week, I think the Browns play Jacksonville. regardless of who they play, Browns -7, 30-17. That seems like a lot of points for the Browns because they've just been running the ball a lot. Hey, doesn't matter. Nick Chubb,
Yeah.
Kareem Hunt, scumbag. Run the
Well,
ball.
you got to keep in mind, not to cut you off. They've also played in really terrible weather the last 2 weeks. They played in that windstorm down in Houston a couple weeks ago, in which there was like 3 total first half points, and then it was pissing and pouring in Cleveland last week,
Yeah.
and so you got to give them a little bit of slack there.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing that you're going to look back on this season and see Baker Mayfield's numbers and say, well, he's not good. Why is he not throwing 4 touchdowns a game? Well, when the weather's fine, he just does what he has to do to help his team. Last week, I mean, he has like a 3rd down. He bootlegs it outright, cuts it up the field, gets the 1st down. He celebrates whatever. He only threw like 50%. The ball was, I don't know, waterlogged for the better part of 3.5 quarters. The week before it was windy, so you can't even throw it to begin with because there's no way you can get enough arm behind it unless you're maybe Pat Mahomes. I mean, as long as they know that they can run the ball, they can get the ball underneath and quick pass. I mean, they target Jarvis Landry underneath quite a bit, trying to make plays that way, but just do what you're asked, get the job done, and who cares if your numbers are ugly. Baker Mayfield's he's handled adversity very well. He's done his job to the best that he can. I think the Browns are just a scary team because if you get a 1-2 punch like Chubb and Hunt, I mean, you're just good luck stopping. We saw last week. I mean, Chubb takes a ball left side of the line, goes up the field, no look, stiff arms the linebacker, takes it all the way up the field, breaks like 4 more tackles, goes down. Next play, they hands it to Hunt, and he hurdles the safety and the corner into the end zone. Like, how are you supposed to stop him?
Yeah.
Just freak athletes all the way. And that's what I've been saying all year with the Browns. They just draft good athletes. They sign good athletes. And they find a way to get them on the field however they can, on both sides of the ball. And they're coming along defensively very well. So, Jacksonville just sucks. I mean, we saw them put up 3 points against Pittsburgh. Don't know if they put up a whole lot more against Cleveland. So, even if I don't know if they're gonna have Myles Garrett this week or not. He might be out. But oh no, they're going to get like 3 less pressures on the quarterback because their whole defense is still very good. And that's not a slight on Garrett, by the way. I think Garrett's probably top 3 edge rusher in the league right now. So,
yeah.
Browns beat them bad. But I do want to say, since we're in the NFC North a little bit, Joe Burrow, man, how much of a kick in the nuts was that last week? I had just turned that game on because Vikings didn't play, so I had the 1 o'clock slot open. I was going back and forth. Turned it to that game, and like 2 plays later, I see it, or it happens, man. That just sucks, man.
Yeah, it was really unfortunate. I mean, you got a guy who was probably, I don't want to say he was in line for Rookie of the Year, Offensive Rookie of the Year, but I mean, he was definitely in contention. And now, I mean, hell, maybe his 2021 season's over. I mean, depending on how bad that leg is.
Depending on how rehab and surgery and everything goes, he could either come back week 1 next year. A lot of people have it at the same timeline as Carson Wentz, where he missed the first 2 weeks the year after he got hurt, but it happened 2 weeks earlier in the season, or 2 weeks later in the season, so Burrow would be on track.
Well, I was going to say, I will say this. Don't rush him back, whatever you do. I mean, the guy has been great for you. Philadelphia, they rushed Carson Wentz back because Carson Wentz, he was looking like an MVP candidate before he got injured that year. He rushes back. He gets injured again. Misses the next playoffs. Foles goes out there, has to win another playoff game in Chicago, and Wentz ain't been the same since. If Burrow was smart, he would, obviously he's out the rest of this year, he would just take next year off too. Rehab next year, come back in 22, just ready to go, 100%, get you some good O-line in the draft, just be protected and make sure your career's not entirely wasted because Wentz, I mean, he's lucky that he had 1 good season before he got hurt and got paid because if he was in a contract year right now, I don't know if he gets a starting job next year. Right. I mean, the only reason he's starting for the Eagles is because the Eagles got $100 million wrapped up in him, and it's financially impossible for him not to start. Yeah. You can't have $30 million sitting on your bench. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so,
And I mean, it sucks with Burrow. Like, if he can come back next year, I think he will. I mean, he's one of the biggest competitors in the game right now, and we've seen it. I mean, he came into Cincinnati, obviously number one pick. He's a quarterback. He's going to be a captain, at least at some point in his rookie year. He was voted captain after his first team meeting. The dude's a
yeah,
leader. He's done everything that you ask him to do in Cincinnati. He's been involved in their community. He's done. I mean, he's turned their team is like 2-7, 2-7-1, whatever it is right now, and it's not his fault. The offense has been very good. Burrow's brought life to that team. I hope they fire Zach Taylor. He has not been good to them at all. He was. I mean, I was high on him coming out as a head coach. Hasn't worked out in their favor. They got to get somebody new in there. A guy like Bieniemy out of Kansas City, or I think it's Dabble out of Buffalo. Offensive mind. Got to get somebody in there that can make the most of Burrow, because they've got the pieces in place. They can't stay healthy. The offensive line sucks. I don't know how the hit that he got hurt on wasn't a penalty. Like, I don't think it was. I don't think it was dirty, but it was textbook diving at the knees of the quarterback.
now I will say this. I mean, if they really were smart, they would fire their head coach now, and just hire Adam Gase at the end of the year. Get the number one pick next year, draft a really good running back or lineman. Now you're in business.
He is. I mean, he is a quarterback guru too. So I've heard.
He is.
So.
He is.
I mean, I think this year they're going to have to go. I mean, they're in a good spot in terms of building their future for now, because they've. I mean, there's no question Burrow's your future. I mean, the way medicine, technology, everything is now, he's going to come back healthy. At least I mean, there's no reason to believe he won't. They're going to have high draft pick. They can get plenty of options. They can get offensive line. They can add to the defense around them. And that's going to help their free agency. You know you're going to get the chance to play with a high-end quarterback. You're going to get somebody in there. You're going to get some difference makers. God, I just struggled over that word. But, yeah, it sucks, man. That play, the first time I saw it, like when I watched it live, I was like, they cut back and it was hurt. Like, damn it. What happened? It looked like a clean pocket. Then the replay just did not. Do not watch it. That's all I can tell you. It sucks for him. But
and what makes it even worse is that the MRI showed the injury to be much worse than what it was initially. Just supposed to be an ACL. Now it's an ACL, MCL, other structural damage.
And I mean, you could see like the pain behind him as he's getting carted off. Chase Young was consoling him, and then they went 1 and 2 in the draft this year. Obviously, a close bond with them. Man, it sucks. Justin Herbert, I know, was kind of. It helps his case for Rookie of the Year, but obviously that's not anything that's on his mind. But Herbert, I mean, dude's top 10 quarterback in the NFL right now.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't care that he just played the Jets. He threw for like 300 yards in the first half. Dude's got a cannon. Rookie of the Year should be locked up. Unless there's a chance that Claypool could catch him if he scores enough. But even then, I don't see it happening.
But how many touchdowns do you think it would take for Claypool to win Rookie of the Year? 15? Is that 10?
Is that 10?
Yeah.
At least 13.
I mean, 15. It would be hard to deny him at 15.
Yeah, I mean, you could even look at like CeeDee Lamb could get there because of what he does for the Cowboys offense and special teams. Justin Jefferson could get there if he's averaging like 86 yards a game, which is fourth most all time by a rookie. He's got, I believe, 4 or 5 touchdowns, which obviously not the same pace, but there's a very good rookie class out right now. I just don't know. I mean, James Robinson could get it with Jacksonville at running back. There's just so many guys, but Herbert's been so much better than that. It's impressive. I mean, any other year you're thinking this is like an 8-guy race. Right now it's Herbert, and then everybody else is fighting for second.
Yeah.
And, man, Herbert's freaking unreal, man.
Yeah, I mean, some people weren't as high on him coming out of the draft, and I don't want to name names or anything, but I think those.
I mean, yeah, I was very. I started out high on him. Obviously, traits-wise, he was going to be round 1 pick. I just thought he was going to take longer to develop. Had him as high day 2 to top. I'm struggling. Bottom of the first round, top of the second round grade. Projected, but he was going to go first round. That was never a question. It's just, all you can think back now and look at it, Oregon did not use him how they should have.
Yeah.
They used way too many tunnel screens, way too much underneath stuff, way too much running the football. And they never had a good receiver to work with. Now he's got Keenan Allen, who's getting 20 targets against the Jets.
Yeah.
And single-handedly beat me in fantasy, by the way. But, yeah, I mean, I was wrong on Herbert. Physical traits, stuff like that, was always there. That was never a question. Decision-making was a concern, and consistency was a concern, and he's checked those off right away. Yeah. Which obviously there's still more to be played. It could all just be. We'll see what happens in his sophomore year. I know sophomore slump's a big thing.
Yeah, he's making Miami look kind of foolish for taking Tua over him. You know.
Yeah, I mean Tua's still been really good in his own right, but man, Herbert looks freaking good, man.
He does.
Unreal.
And something else before we get into a little something I don't want to talk about here, but I guess something else that I want to talk about. Mike Vrabel and John Harbaugh. Talk about a heavyweight matchup.
Yeah.
John Harbaugh, is he out of his mind?
He would get stomped.
Oh, raffle stomped, dude. He would get beat 9 ways to Sunday, man. Against Mike Vrabel?
Mike Vrabel's no slouch.
Dude was an NFL linebacker. Like, they're built different. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, shout out to the Harbaugh brothers for being 2 of the. John Harbaugh's not that big of an idiot. Just like he's done some stupid stuff. Jim Harbaugh's a goddamn moron. But yeah, what a weird event that was on Sunday. I mean, I don't know what all was said, but like, come on.
Yeah.
Come on. Just coach.
Yeah, I mean, Mike Vrabel will whip your ass, dude.
Or at least back it up. You can't get out there getting all pissy and then go and get your ass beaten overtime because you can't stop it.
I mean, if you're going to get into a shouting match, you got to at least put your finger in his chest or something, you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's like who was it back in the day? Jim Schwartz and somebody got into it with Detroit. It's like, dude, at least like make it worthwhile for everybody. Throw a punch. Yeah. I don't advocate violence very often, but hey, man, if you're a head coach, if you want your team's respect, you got to start throwing some haymakers.
Oh, goodness. So, anything else you want to talk about football-wise?
I think I've got it all.
All right, a couple things I want to talk about in the world of combat sports. Last week, we talked about Davis and Figueiredo. I said he was going to retain the title. Sure enough, he did. See what he did?
No.
So guess what? So he defends the title on Saturday. He agrees to defend the title again in 2.5 weeks.
Oh.
On the next pay-per-view. Oh yeah, dude. The dude, like, he's from Brazil, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm not even gonna fly back to Rio. I'm just gonna stay here in Brazil and train for my next fight." The guy is taking another title fight on 21 days' notice against a guy who also fought on Saturday and won in the first round. I mean, that is impressive stuff. If Figueiredo wins, he is fighter of the year, hands down. He is making flyweight a hell of a lot of fun.
I mean, if he wants to fight me and prove that he's a fighter of the year, he's got my number. But I mean, kudos to him for thinking he can pull it off, I guess.
I respect it. Now, going from flyweight to heavyweight this weekend, I know you're going to be watching Saturday night, the return of the baddest man on the planet. Iron Mike Tyson fights Roy Jones Jr. in a fight that is guaranteed to set boxing back 20 years.
I would probably rather watch the Jake Paul fight,
which is the co-main event against Nate Robinson.
What the fuck is happening?
I know, dude. It is, and the fact that card might generate $100 million of revenue is absolutely absurd. I read that card has already broke the heavyweight pre-sale pay-per-view record And I'm like, why? These two 50-year-old men are not going to put on a fight of the year candidate. I promise you. Tyson is not going to go on a Foreman-like run. And the thing is, that if he wins on Saturday, if he knocks out Jones Jr., he might call out like Tyson Fury. Why? You will die against Tyson Fury. Oh, so it's going to set boxing back 20 years. Nate Robinson and Jake Paul at cruiserweight, 200 pounds. I don't think Nate Robinson was 200 pounds in his NBA days.
No, he's like 170.
So it's like, I don't know why this fight's going at 200. And I'm going to watch it, of course. But I'm like, what a
I don't know.
We talked last week about MMA fighters and boxers and how it should not be sanctioned. This is another fight that probably should not have been sanctioned. I'm telling you what. This isn't 86 when Tyson won the heavyweight title at age 20. This isn't Roy Jones Jr. in his heyday beating the shit out of everybody. These are two geriatric men who might be one body punch away from kidney failure, okay? Let's save these men from themselves.
Yeah, dude, it's absurd. And then, like, how did the co-main event even happen?
I don't know.
Like, who calls who to set up Jake Paul versus Nate Robinson? We got a 5'6" NBA dunk champion against a dickhead YouTuber.
Now, I don't get me wrong. The Paul brothers, they fought. I think Jake Paul fought, or maybe Logan Paul. I don't even know. One of them fought KSI twice. They're both. Every time DAZN throws a big card, like, I can't watch a Ryan Garcia fight without those two idiots making dumbass faces in the background. Like I would. Someone tap their fucking jaw twice for me, please. Actually, I'm glad you brought this up. HBO doesn't do boxing. Showtime, DAZN, Top Rank, PBC. If you're holding a card and there's fans, leave those two off the fucking camera. I do not care to see the reaction of Jake and Logan Paul. If there is a knockout, a big round, a defining moment, leave those two stupid motherfuckers off of my screen. I hope for everything that I believe is good in this world, I hope Nate Robinson flatlines, knocks out, makes Jake Paul unconscious Saturday night, okay? I pray. If there's anything I want, I will go 0-6 on these picks. I will lose my life. I will do everything. And it will be okay. Jake Paul does not win. That's my rant. It's I can't stand
such a weird situation, and like, kudos to them for like branding themselves and doing all of this and making such a name for them, but like, nobody ever in the history of ever was like, damn, you know what I could do on a nice Saturday evening, Thanksgiving weekend? I could really go for a Mike Tyson and Jake Paul fight card. It's asinine.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Sense. But
you are absolutely right,
hopefully
sir.
There's some good college football on or something, because there's no way I want to watch that. Oh, man. What a disaster.
Yeah.
Man, I'm sorry, folks. I'm going to keep that
good.
in there, so you guys get to watch it.
So that's all I got for this week. That's all the content I got.
Yeah, I think that's all I got. NBA season comes back soon, but I think we're like a week away from training camp, which I'll be doing a shit ton of writing for that. NFL season's still here. I'll be doing writing for that and for the NFL draft and trying to get some other stuff around. And then I'm start working on trying to get some maybe bring some guests in every now and again if we can find something to talk about. Maybe spice things up,
I respect it.
If anybody here wants to be a guest, send in a resume. And by resume, I say text me or Keen.
Hit my jack.
Yeah, hit my jack. Yeah, and then great. I got allergies kicking in, so this is perfect time to end it. But yeah, hey, have a good Thanksgiving.
You as
Don't eat
well.
stuffing, you psychopath.
Yeah.
Uh,
Go ahead and treat yourself. 2 scoops of mac and cheese on the first go around.
hey,
Treat yourself.
players gotta play, dog.
Hey, I respect it.
Get the mac and cheese, get the baked beans, pour one out for your boy. Hey,
Yeah.
have a nice little adult beverage if you want. Shit, I
Ooh.
gotta think about what I want to do for that. I don't know if you can buy alcohol tomorrow, can you?
I don't know. That's why you go tonight. Duh.
I got work to do tonight.
We'll send
Um,
Caleb out there.
I might have to. He's coming down
Yeah.
tomorrow. We'll text him. Caleb,
Yeah.
if you don't watch this before that, you better run to the store for me tomorrow or tonight while I get this shit knocked out. Hell yeah. All right. Get some drinks in tomorrow. Watch some football. Matt Stafford versus Deshaun Watson, two of my favorite quarterbacks in the league. We got the exact opposite in the 4 o'clock slate. We got Dickhead Red Rifle against Alex Smith, I think, is starting for Washington. Hey, we're back, baby. Football. We got college basketball. We got various others. Disc golf was on ESPN2 last night. If you want to watch some disc golf. Taste Tale starts this week. Must see television.
We say that with air quotes, folks.
Nope. I mean, 100%. He's the best quarterback in the league. But yeah, that's all I got.
That's all I got too, man.
Get this out for the folk, and
May your Thanksgiving be safe, and may the food be plentiful.
Yes, sir. Oh man. All right. Peace out, folks. We will catch you next week at some point. It'll probably change between now and then of when it's coming out. So just keep your ears peeled or whatever the hell the saying is.
Yeah.
All right. Peace out,
Take
guys.
it easy, guys.